Today we're getting into the latest Tesla news, including the Model Y selling out again, Tesla opening their supercharger network further, Rivian layoffs, and more, so let's get into it. First up today, Tesla is in the process of opening up their supercharger network for use by other EVs. This will be extremely helpful for the future of electric cars, as reliable charging infrastructure is vital for electrification. Tesla has talked about opening up their network in North America for some time now, and we recently heard a bit about how they're going to do this. Apparently they will implement what they call a magic dock that releases a normal Tesla plug when charging a Tesla, and releases a Tesla plug along with a CCS adapter when charging a non-Tesla. That's exciting, but still unknown for North America as to the timeline. However, in Europe, Tesla has now opened up 50% of their chargers to other EVs. They are open in 15 different countries across Europe, and the most recent addition to this is Australia. Tesla Charging tweeted saying, quote, "Select superchargers in Australia are now open to all electric vehicles." They started with 5 stations in South Wales, and all of this is part of their pilot program. They have to manage congestion and see how other EVs are handling superchargers. The list of countries is getting pretty long though, and I somewhat expect Tesla to take a similar approach state by state in the United States. Everyone is worried about congestion at superchargers when Tesla flips this switch, but they're much smarter than that and understand the problem they could create if they don't plan accordingly. I do think it will be giving up a big advantage for Tesla though. Right now, when choosing between a Tesla or other EV, charging infrastructure is one of the biggest reasons you may not want to get anything but a Tesla, and soon that may change. That's one side of it, but of course it's also exciting to see. We'll keep hearing a lot more about this throughout 2023. Next up today, Tesla tweeted about 2 big milestones for their vehicles. First is the celebration that 15 years ago they delivered the first Tesla Roadster. This was a huge accomplishment for them and shows just how far they've come. The Roadster was their first vehicle, built off of a Lotus, and served as their first expensive EV that propelled their future electric vehicle efforts. Tesla posted their original blog post from January 6, 2008, detailing the excitement of their first ever delivered vehicle. From there they made the Model S, Model X, Model 3, and now most popular Model Y. Soon they should have the Cybertruck, and maybe sometime before we hit another 15 years, Tesla will be able to ship Gen 2 of the Roadster. They have accomplished a ton within the last 15 years and have managed to force a lot of the vehicle industry to go electric. For the Model S, a new record was just set in Norway. The Model S drove further than any electric car in a winter test throughout Norway's snow, driving 530 kilometers on a charge and beating the previous record held by the Tesla Model 3 at 521 kilometers. On their chart, we can see a number of EVs, and the most important number here is their percentage of deviation from their quoted range. Not only did the Model S go the furthest, as the only car passing 450 and 500 kilometers, but its deviation was the lowest at 16.4%. That's especially impressive considering they are looking at WLTP range, which is known to be fairly generous. Another impressive number based on deviation was the Model X Plaid at 18.23%. Teslas are performing especially well in the cold, but so are a number of other EVs, which is great to see on this list. Some do see a drop as much as 35% though, like the Toyota BZ4X. That's significant and is definitely a factor when shopping for an EV if you plan to drive a lot in cold weather. Next up today, a new Cybertruck prototype has been spotted testing in Palo Alto. Recently on Twitter, Elon Musk said, "I was just reviewing the production beta Cybertruck. It is incredible." He didn't give any more details, but this could be the prototype he was talking about because we can see a couple of updates. We know that Tesla has a few Cybertruck prototypes, and Tesla's vice president of vehicle engineering recently said, quote, "We've started installation of all the production equipment here in Giga, Texas, casting, GA, general assembly, body shops. We built all our beta vehicles, some more coming still in the next month, but as you said, the ramp will really come 2024. In this latest prototype, we can see a functional tonneau cover, which hasn't been seen on the last few prototypes we have spotted. It has simply been without a cover, but this cover should be essential for the aerodynamics Tesla is going for in this truck. On top of this, the rear window is rolled down all the way, which we haven't seen much in practice. The biggest change though is with the updated triangular side mirrors. These will be required on the Cybertruck when shipping, but it looks like Tesla is going with a design that matches the rest of the truck as opposed to the previous much larger mirrors. We'll see how this works in practice. Tesla has a number of prototypes and is planning to make even more throughout this month, so we'll likely see Cybertruck sightings much more frequently. When Tesla was prototyping the Model Y, we saw it a lot out testing before it was officially launched, and it will be fun to see the changes we spot on each vehicle and then what ultimately makes it to production. Next up today, over at Giga Shanghai, new reports are saying that Tesla is looking to ramp up production even further as they have received a new surge in orders. Tesla's price cuts have been working in the US, with Elon Musk saying that Tesla's order rate is twice their production capacity at the moment. The same appears to be happening in China after price cuts. There were rumors that Tesla was throttling production at Giga Shanghai due to lack of demand, which Tesla disputed, but now Reuters says, quote, the automaker plans to produce a weekly average of nearly 20,000 units at its Shanghai factory in February and March, according to the memo which detailed output plans for Tesla's most productive and profitable manufacturing hub. Tesla's price cuts in China could have to do with this, but so could their price cuts in other markets that this factory exports to. It looks like they are planning to ramp back to full rates at this factory, all while reportedly planning a new factory in Mexico. According to a representative from the Mexican government, Tesla is going to build an assembly factory in Mexico City. Reportedly as well, this may be an additional factory on top of the rumored factory in Nuevo Leon. In December, officials said that Tesla would announce their new Nuevo Leon factory within the coming days, but this still has yet to happen. It's unclear why this is the case, but Jesus Ramirez, a spokesperson for the Mexican president, said, quote, Tesla will invest there, in an assembly plant to export directly by air. The government also confirmed that Tesla visited the site and was particularly interested since it would be located 3 kilometers from the airport. If exporting by air, it's unclear what exactly Tesla would be manufacturing, as they typically ship by rail or may even ship via semi, coordinating between Mexico City and Giga, Texas. As with the last report, this is being reported as if it's a done deal, so we could hear soon about Tesla opening 2 new factories in Mexico, or we may not hear anything. Many automakers are expanding in Mexico though, and a new reason for this is because certain IRS EV tax requirements only require North American assembly. Tesla is an American-based company and may be expanding to their 3rd international factory soon, but their biggest competitors for the moment are located in China. Since Tesla's price drops occurred globally, we're now seeing how this is affecting their biggest competition. NIO, Li Auto, and XPeng have all seen significant drops in monthly sales in January after these price drops. Quote, NIO delivered 8,506 vehicles in January, a 46.2% drop from December 2022, and an 11.9% decrease from January 2022. Li Auto's 15,141 units delivered last month was a 28.7% decrease from the month before and a 23.4% drop from January 2022. XPeng felt the most drastic decrease with a 53.8% sales decrease compared to December, but a massive 59.6% drop from last January. One point to keep in mind here is that January sales figures are typically lighter in China due to the Lunar New Year, but analysts are convinced this also has to do with Tesla. Tesla saw a 44% decrease in sales in December compared to January, so their price drops on January 6th had a big impact. Quote, from January 9th to January 15th, the week following Tesla's price cuts in China, the automaker's sales shot up 76% to 12,654 vehicles. To a certain degree, it seems that when priced similarly to other options, most people want to buy a Tesla. At the same time, over in America, we're seeing other EV startups struggling. Quote, Rivian is laying off 6% of its workforce as it is having issues cutting costs amid its production ramp, resulting in selling its electric vehicles at a massive loss. Rivian has had success ramping their production vehicles, but they haven't been able to reduce cost in the process. For Q3, Rivian was spending as much as 3 times what they charged for a vehicle. This is part of the ramping process for an automaker, but 3 times is significant and can only go on for so long. For now, they are cutting costs with layoffs, but we're also hearing reports that Rivian may be prioritizing those who ordered after their 20% price increases. According to Business Insider, some R1S SUV orders placed after March 2022, when Rivian hiked prices about 20%, are now slated to be filled before less expensive orders placed earlier, according to customer posts on Twitter and in company forums. Rivian has had a tough time keeping pre-order holders happy, and while this could be related to many things, it doesn't look great. Rivian said delivery window estimates are based on a number of factors, including delivery location, configuration, and original pre-order or reservation date. Clearly, delivering cars that make them 20% more would be helpful from their business perspective, but it's a surefire way to anger loyal pre-order holders. Hopefully that isn't what's happening. We'll hear a lot more about that and how all of this develops when Rivian announces earnings on February 28th. Layoffs have been a part of many EV companies lately, one of which is Tesla. Tesla had a wave of layoffs in 2022, but now they have confirmed that they employ about 128,000 people. This means they added 29,000 employees throughout 2022, with a lot of those employees filling out their Berlin and Austin factories. While they did face layoffs, in large part this was a restructuring and focus on what what makes them the most money, scaling up their profitable vehicles. On Tesla's Q4 earnings call, Elon Musk said their current order rate was exceeding production by double, and now for the first time in some months, this is reflected on Tesla's website. If you go to configure a Model Y, you'll see that the estimated delivery window has now moved to a window from March to May of 2023. The days of immediate Model Y delivery are over, and the story of Teslas being sold out will continue this year once again. For now, they are sold out for at least the month of February, which means their inventory has probably mostly dried up. This is exactly what they have wanted. For the Model 3, wait times still show February to March, and they have yet to reintroduce the long-range Model 3 in the configurator. Model S and X orders appear about the same that they have been, so it's clear that the Model Y is more popular than any other vehicle for Tesla. They make more of that car than any other, and it has the longest wait. Soon enough, that could have a longer wait, but the good news is that for now, the price has to stay under $55,000 to qualify for the tax incentive. However, with that March to May estimate, the Model Y may actually be delivered after the tax credit of $7,500 gets cut in half due to new battery requirements. The tax credit battery requirements are currently on hold until March, but come March, if it only qualifies for a $3,750 incentive, we'll see if Tesla finds it more important to stay below the MSRP cap or not. Hopefully the Model Y's price only drops from here into the future. As for wait times, they will be ramping up throughout the year to catch up on demand, so hopefully wait times don't get as significant as they have been in the past. We'll have to see. At the same time, one potential issue we could see for Tesla in their price war is pressure that ends up on suppliers. Tesla's CFO said on their recent earnings call that they are attacking every area of cost. Elon Musk added that if a recession happens, it could lead to meaningful decreases in almost all of our input costs. However, automotive suppliers are a bit concerned as a result of these price cuts. Quote, "It is never good for suppliers when automakers cut vehicle prices because that pressure rolls downhill. I never like it because I know eventually they're going to try to get it out of one of us." That's a quote from Dan Starkey, a representative for automotive suppliers. He also added, "My message is there's not going to be any room there. Many suppliers are financially struggling." According to one Tesla supplier speaking anonymously, Tesla was focused on delivery rather than cost throughout the past few years. They would pay a premium to get parts faster, but now this is changing and suppliers aren't sure how they'll keep up. Quote, "There's certain things that I think will ease, but there's this labor component that's built into the price of everything, and I don't see that easing anytime soon and potentially never." From Tesla's side of things, though, they could reassure suppliers that losses from lower prices will be made up with a higher volume of orders. This could be a piece that becomes difficult for Tesla throughout 2023, but higher volume could be the solution, and the demand is now there for them to need to produce more cars than ever this year. As always, I'm rooting for all EVs, but it will be very interesting to see how this develops. Making profitable EVs is incredibly difficult, and Tesla's price war has ignited worldwide. Rivian is struggling, automakers in China are seeing less orders, and Tesla is seeing incredible demand while focused on cutting costs on their already profitable cars. Last up today, some updates about other automakers. The Ionic 6 has received its official EPA range estimates, and it is proving very competitive and impressive. The most efficient version of the Ionic 6 has an EPA range of 361 miles and an energy consumption of 140 miles per gallon electric. That's about 241 watt-hours per mile. Originally, we expected a range around 340 miles, so 361 is more than expected and beats the long-range Tesla Model 3 by 8 miles. One thing to note, though, is that the Ionic 6 trim is rear-wheel drive that's achieving that range. They have 6 different trims, with the one we mentioned getting 361 miles, all-wheel drive long range getting 316 miles, and Tesla still beating that. Select and Limited rear-wheel drive get 305 miles of range, and then Select and Limited all-wheel drive get 270 miles of range. The Ionic 6's drag coefficient is essential here, coming in at 0.22. When speaking about efficiency, a Hyundai vice president in North America said, "Continually improving the efficiency of our vehicles is always a top priority for our development teams. Instead of just adding a larger battery to increase the range, we choose to optimize Ionic 6's aerodynamic performance and its electric global modular platform for efficiency to produce these long driving ranges." Definitely exciting to see EVs competing with this much range, and I'm excited to see this arrive in the US this spring. At GM, CEO Mary Barra spoke about responding to Tesla's price war, saying, "When we look at our strong product portfolio and the interest that we have at the prices that we've already announced, we feel that we're well positioned. We think right now we're priced where we need to be." Currently, GM sells the Chevy Bolt EV and EUV, Cadillac Lyriq, and Hummer EV. The first two are very cheap, while the second two are much more expensive, so they don't really have an EV that is competing with Tesla at the moment. Later in 2023, they should begin shipping the Chevy Equinox and Chevy Blazer EV, and those have been announced with starting prices under after the Model Y, so there really isn't a need for them to drop prices. It will also be months or even years before those are available at a competitive volume, so it makes sense why they don't have to respond to Tesla's price drops. For this year though, they do plan to put the Hummer EV SUV into production. GM has shipped the Hummer EV in small quantities, but the SUV version has yet to be seen. According to the Detroit News, quote, General Motors began production of the brand new 2024 GMC Hummer EV SUV Monday, and customers are expected to begin receiving them by the end of the first quarter. This will be made in Michigan, and GM is sitting on a large backlog of Hummer SUV orders that will likely take them years to fulfill. Glad to see them finally entering production, but the real important step is scaling production. That's all the latest Tesla news for today, so in the meantime, if you want to see a buying guide for Tesla's current lineup and pricing, you can check out that video linked up here or in the description below. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.